Hello everyone, welcome to the session. In our previous session, we have discussed about what is initial public offering and the advantages of for the companies that offer their shares to the public through initial and further public offering. So there are various advantages over that. But now we're going to see some of the drawbacks in initial public offering. Drawbacks in the sense, what are the cons or the negative aspects of the initial public offering. First one is increasing accountability to public shareholders. This is kind of expected because in asking for private companies or private individuals, private investors to invest in a private company, there will be a maximum of 200 people, and therefore the money that they have the money that was invested by them is not spread across a huge population. There are only 200 people and it is a private company. So as far it is a private company, it is not taking general people's money. It's only taking private investors' money. Therefore, it doesn't have to be as much accountable as it is as a public company. So I'm not saying private companies are not accountable at all. They also need to submit the financial statements and all. But when you become a public company, when you issue your offering to the public, there are a lot of statements and compliances that you need to follow because you're taking money from the public. So therefore you have increase in accountability. Second is need to maintain dividend and profit growth trends. So a lot of people will only invest shares in a public company mainly for the increase in share value or increase in the company's value, but some also expect annual dividends. So you might want to engage your profit, you might want to use your profit in issuing dividends instead of using them to invest in other forms of business and earning more profit. So in private company, maybe most of the shareholding is in the promoter's hand. Therefore the promoter has to decide what to do with the money. But when it comes to public, you can feel some pressure from the public to issue dividends instead of using the capital to invest in other businesses or to improve your business. Becoming more vulnerable to unwelcome takeover. Like I said yesterday, when it comes to a private company, most of the shareholding will be on the promoter's hands. So even if some part of the shareholding goes to the private people, as in individuals, they will have the promoters will have a majority of the shareholding, as in more than 50%. So as long as you have more than 50%, that is at least 51% of the shareholding in your company, whoever who holds 51% shareholding in the company, you will be called the owners of the company. I am not saying the other shareholders are not owners, they are also partly owners, but the one who holds the 51% shareholders are called the parent of any company. So therefore in private companies, above 51% shareholding will be held in the hands of the original promoters who have founded the company itself. And even if it goes to few other people, those other people will be very well known to the promoters. Therefore there is no need for them to sell their shares to an unknown third party. But as in public companies shares are spread across a huge number of population, and it is traded in the share market. So even the public will not know who they are buying the shares from or who they are selling it to. All they know is that they want to sell the share today, means they'll just sell the share today in the share market, and they do not know who's going to buy that. And even if they want to buy the shares now, they'll just go to the share market and click buy, and then they'll buy the shares. Then they don't know who they are buying from. So the share market is like that. Therefore other companies might take advantage of this and buy a lot of shares in a company, and become a parent company of a company without even the subsidiary company knowing that they are being bought. So in public offering more than 50%, at least 60 to 70% of the company will be shares will be sold to the public. Therefore if someone keeps buying on the shares of a company without even its knowledge, most likely the companies wouldn't know unless the intermediaries tell the company that someone is buying a huge amount of shares in your company. The company wouldn't know. Therefore the companies need to be aware if someone is buying huge amount of shares of the company, because at last the company will not even know if someone has taken over and become parent of their own company. Therefore, and they need to observe and adhere. Like I said before, after you become public company, there are a lot of rules to follow, and these rules and regulations are not there when you are a public company. So after become private, you need to follow the SEBI regulations, RBI regulations, Company Law Act with respect to the public company. The number of rules for private company will be, I don't know, covered within a one page, but the number of rules and regulations for public company could be covered in like 10 or 20 pages. There are a lot of rules to follow when you are a public company, and increasing costs in complying with higher level of reporting requirements. Yeah, public companies has reporting requirements such as CRM and other stuff which the private companies does not do. So to manage the reporting requirements, they need to pay money to the professionals who are doing the reporting. For example, small private companies does not need to have their own company secretaries, but large private companies and public companies must have a company secretary, and they need to pay for the company secretary. So that is a higher cost that they need to incur, relinquishing some control of the company following public. Like I said before, most of the shareholding will be in the hands of the public. So even if you lose your control, it's not much of a surprise. Suffering a loss of privacy as a result of media interest, that is also true. When it is a private company, most of the data or information that you're handling within the private parties is yours. But when you become a public company, there are a million investors. Each and every one of them is eligible to get any kind of information or data that is being discussed in a meeting and everything. So one of them can make that information available to the media, or one of them can be part of the media also. The company would not know. So as the owner of a major shareholder of a private company, it is important to outweigh the benefits and cost and listing in the light of the plans and goals that have been set by an entrepreneur. Well, that is true. As a majority shareholder or as a promoter, it is your job to compare the two options and choose which is the best. Discussion with the lawyers, independent accountants they are actually the best way to know which is the best for the company. Lawyers, independent accountants, and other professional advisors such as company secretaries. Overall, going public is a complex decision that requires careful consideration and planning. Entrepreneurs should examine their current and future capital needs and be aware of how IPO will affect the availability of future financing. I mean, when you go IPO, there is maybe endless amount of capital incoming. That will not be present during private companies. When you are a private company, the chances of you becoming bankrupt or increase more in private company but not in public company. So that's what they think.